This programme is the Petro-Canada Lubricants Porsche Club Championship with Pirelli.
Hello and welcome to Snetterton in Norfolk for rounds 7 and 8 of the Petro-Canada Lubricants Porsche Club Championship with Pirelli. We've reached the midpoint in the championship and it's getting pretty tight at the top of the leaderboard. We've got Jonathan Evans leading the way and I managed to catch up with him earlier on how his season's going. You're having a pretty fantastic rookie year so far.
Well, it's very kind. I'm not so sure. I think there's been some moments where I felt like it was starting to make sense. I think there's been a few moments where it was really just becoming a bit of a headache. I think I've just got to keep pushing. I found a couple of seconds today on yesterday after testing, which was good. But I still need to find another 2 seconds, really. I've just got to keep going, keep pushing. And I think there's obviously no doubt about the car's abilities. It's all about me and how much I can push.
Thinking about next year yet, or too early to say at the midpoint in the season?
Yeah, it's a really good question. That question's already started sort of being bounced around in my mind. I think season 1 was always about just finding your feet, learning the circuits, getting on with the guys. They need to learn about me, I need to learn about them. Amazing support with the Strata guys, obviously. I really want to be here for season 2 and just really sort of try and build and move up a step really if I can.
I'm here with Jonathan Evans, who's leading Class 2, but actually also leading the overall championship, Jonathan, which is pretty exciting. You've had a fantastic start to the year.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, it started out a little bit questionable, having expected to be in Class 1 with a different car, but not being ready and having to pull an old car out of a shed. But yeah, it's performed well. The guys done a great job just keeping it going. I think we've made a few developments actually. We found a few bits and pieces we didn't know would work quite as well as they have done. So it's been it's been good. It's been pleasing.
You've had a little bit of experience in the past in Class 1, but are you thinking of possibly going to Class 1 next year?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the car's pretty much ready now, so we'll be testing that I think next month and try and get some miles onto that and iron out all the issues before we come around to April next year. So that's definitely the plan.
Fantastic to have you back with us again. We saw you out at Donington, but back at Snetterton, which is a circuit we haven't been to since 2015. So I guess it's like starting over again.
Yeah, it feels a bit alien kind of coming back after such a long time, but it's a really good circuit. I do like it. So temperatures are going to be challenging, but everyone's in the same boat. So I think it'll be a good day.
And you've got a lot of sponsors on the car, but I feel like there's a few little spaces we could squeeze a couple more in. Have you got a lot of sponsors with you here today?
Mode Lighting are going to be here today, who are a new sponsor. Stanley have obviously given me their support. They always do. My biggest sponsor, and yeah, there's always room for more.
Can we expect to see you out in some more rounds later this year?
Yep, I'm going to do Silverstone International, Brands, Indy at Festival of Porsche in September, and Donington in July.
There's going to be a lot of cars at that Brands Hatch meeting in September. It's going to be pretty exciting, 70 years of Porsche. It's going to be an interesting race because I think we're expecting a huge grid. So it's really exciting that you'll be there for that one.
Yeah, Brands Indy is one of my favourite circuits. And I think Festival of Porsche, it'll have a really good feel to it. So that's actually one of the rounds that I'm looking forward to the most. I think it's going to be ace.
Great to see Natalie back on the grid. She lines up 15th. Pole position to Mark McAleer from Mark Sumpter. Then Simon Clark and Craig Wilkins completing row 2. Class 2 headed by Jonathan Evans, the championship leader. Andrew Mugridge second in Class 2 from Steve Freeman. And then Angus Archer. Round 7 of the championship is underway here at Snetterton. It's a great start. We're on board with Simon Clark. Mark McAleer immediately in front of us. Mark Sumter in blue and Craig Wilkins around the outside line. Wilkins, a former race winner here. Super start by everybody. Angus Archer is off the line away. Ed Grimshaw going through. 59 is Del Brett running in Class 2. And then down behind Del we've got the Class 3 car of Carl Hazelton, the lone Class 3 car. We'll see the massed ranks of the Class 3s in the Resto Racing class a little bit later on in the year, which is good to know, as Andy Toon makes a move on the inside line there at Palmer Corner. And we're on board with Simon Clark. Simon in 4th place in the race, a front runner in the championship, joint second. I'll talk more about championship positions as the racing gets underway. We're on the infield for the first time. Number 4 car of Andy Toon coming under pressure from Jonathan Evans, the outright championship leader. Remember, running in Class 2, and very exciting to hear about his ambitions to move up to Class 1. Quality driver to join even more quality drivers in the lead group in Class 1. This is the exit point of the complex, the infield complex, onto the back straight. We're looking ahead here. Oh, Michael Price getting on Mr. Whippy on. Peter Urseg's got a good view of that. A very worrying moment for Peter Urseg, who negotiates the situation well. Michael Price continues. He's lost a few places. Peter Urseg, of course, has gained one, but that was a very worrying moment. Could have been a very expensive incident, but Peter handled it well. Michael Price still on track, but not having a lot of luck, Michael Price. And this year has had one podium, so he knows the pace is there. That was on the Grand Prix circuit at Brands Hatch for round 3 of the championship back in May. And it's not going to be a podium here, but Mark McAleer trying to break clear from Mark Sumter. Sumter in 77, the 11 car of Craig Wilkins, former race winner here at Snetterton. And then the leading Cayman, Simon Clark. Across the line they go. It's James Birch next up, and then a little bit of a gap back. Here's that Class 3 car, Carl Hazelton, up ahead of Michael Price in the Farrell Estates entered car, who comes into pit lane. So hopefully exploratory, and that he can get out and get some testing laps in. If not, we hope that his luck improves for race 2, but potentially looking like the first retirement of round 7, which, as Fern said, the halfway point of this year's championship. 14 rounds, the Petro Canada Lubricants Porsche Club Championship with Pirelli for 2018. Leading quintet coming down into Agostini. Mark McAleer getting away. Mark Sumter second. Then it's Craig Wilkins from Simon Clark. James Birch is next in 5th place. So the leader beginning to build a little bit of a gap back to his chasers. There is Natalie McGloin in the number 9 running well. And here's that lead quintet again. You can see Mark McAleer. I wonder if Mark Sumter is maybe a little bit occupied with Craig Wilkins. Craig Wilkins having won here in 2013 and 2015. 2015, incidentally, the last time that we were here at Snetterton. So the guys have had, and girl, have had a little bit of a break. The last race here was won by Pete Morris, who's a little further back than he would like to be in the race-winning 997. Pete winning the second race in 2015 from Kevin Harrison and Paul Winter. Steve Cheetham taking a double in Class 2 on that occasion. And Steve not with us after his Class 1 debut last time out. And race 1 last time run by Craig Wilkins from Mark McAleer and Pete Morris, who got the fastest lap. Wilkins taking fastest lap in race 2. So they've all got form at Snetterton, but it's a circuit that does seem to produce different winners over the course of the years that we've raced here. Pete Morris and Mark McAleer, the most successful drivers at this track. 3 wins apiece. Morris in 2004, 2010 and 2015. Mark McAleer having won here in 2006, 2007 and 2013. Craig Wilkins, double winner, as we already mentioned. There in the 52 car is Andrew Muggeridge, involved in a dice with Natalie McGloin. Now, coming out of the pit lane there, just to the left of shot, I think was Michael Price. Might be going to Parc Ferme and ultimately to retirement. We'll see whether he does indeed rejoin the track. There is Carl Hazelton in the Porsche Centre Chester car. You can clearly see him blazoned on the side of the car and enjoying his track time, with no doubt about that at all, as the race leaders come down on this infield part into Agostini. Potential overtaking place here. Simon Clark, though, getting defensive from James Birch in the GT Marks car. Then a little bit of a gap back. And the field coming through. Chris Dyer and Andy Toon. Pete Morris in the number 2 car is there as well. Strasser out in force once again, on board with Peter Urseg, not having to worry about errant cars at the moment. Good to see Peter back with us, the PB Racing entered car. 4th start of the year for Peter, had a retirement on the Brands Hatch GP circuit round 3. Haven't seen him since May. And that's a major shock there, because off circuit is championship leader. That's Jonathan Evans off track. An unblemished record for him so far up to this point. I tell you what, he won't want to speak to Fern again if that's the kind of luck that happens for Jonathan Evans. The CRH Racing, sponsored by ES car, has won every race class-wise so far this season. It looks like a retirement for him from the race. Hopefully he'll be able to get going and come out again in race 2. But the halfway point of the season, not a bad time, I suppose, to have your first score that might be considered a drop score. As we watch the battle for second, Mark Sumpter still being chased there by Craig Wilkins. Strange not to have seen Mark Sumpter on the list of winners here at Snetterton, so he's probably hoping to sort that out this weekend. Steve Freeman up ahead of Andrew Muggeridge. They're having a really good dice, and this is a super view along Senna Straight. We've got this very slight climb uphill and then a gradient down into the first corner at Riches. A lot of people regard Snetterton as flat, but there are some subtle gradients which the drivers enjoy. Natalie McGloin coming to us through the heat haze up ahead of Trevor Lewis, who runs 2nd in the Class 2 Championship standings. Paul Seagrave is 3rd in Class 2. Ed Grimshaw 4th from Steve Freeman. And the good news is that Jonathan Evans is back on track. He's a little way down at the moment in the 36 car, but has rejoined. And the question is, will he carry on, or will he go into the pits? I suspect he'll carry on and try and get some points, but he's in a lonely position at the moment on track. As we pick up on Steve Freeman and Andrew Muggeridge, we'll have more for you after the break. Well, these two, of course, battling it out for the lead in Class 2. Steve Freeman up ahead of Andrew Muggeridge, and it's very close indeed. Natalie McGloin next up. Trevor Lewis running in 3rd in class, the white 66. A little bit of smoke coming out of the back of that. And then Angus Archer. Angus in his 2nd meeting with us. Very welcome he is too. 2 4th places at Donington Park at the start of the year. We head to Donington again, as you might have heard Natalie mention in her interview with Fern before the start of the race. So a keen fight going on here for 3rd position, at the moment held by Craig Wilkins. Simon Clark, this is the view from the chaser. Perfect conditions here at Snetterton, and this immaculately kept circuit. Always a wonderful place to visit. And in fact, now we've got Simon Clark coming under pressure from James Birch, so Wilkins gets a little bit of a reprieve at the minute as the 2 Caymans fight it out going down the straight. Natalie McGloin still coming under pressure from Trevor Lewis. Class 1 car being challenged, of course, by Class 2. And Trevor, in theory, looking to close up on Jonathan Evans in the points. He won't do so on drop scores, which we'll look at later on in the year. Natalie runs a little bit wide. Trevor Lewis safely through and makes up a position. This the battle for the Class 2 lead, and still out front is Steve Freeman. 71 here is Ed Grimshaw, and Del Brett in the 59. Del having run in Class 4 at the start of the year, but now I think a fully fledged driver with us in Class 2, which is great to see. Del trying to close in, but at the moment Ed Grimshaw has got the upper hand in that Strasser prepared car. Strasser, a very impressive presence in the paddock, and they've got some very happy customers and some quick drivers in the Strasser team as well. They're just about to come across the line to tick off another lap. Here they come down towards Riches through the heat haze. The first corner, right-hander leads down in towards the hairpin, the Montreal hairpin. Meanwhile, the battle for the Class 2 lead continues apace, and it's Steve Freeman still there, but Andrew Muggeridge in the Uber GT car is getting closer and closer. It looks to me like Mark Sumpter is beginning to maybe close up a little bit on Mark McAleer, the leader. We've still got the 3 cars fighting over the last podium slot. James Birch still giving chase at the moment to Simon Clark. Now, Simon Clark key. I'll come back to Simon Clark in a minute. There's so much going on. Andrew Muggeridge still chasing hard, and Steve Freeman the class leader. Let's come back to this group. And what I was about to say was Mark Sumpter's the Class 1 leader in terms of points in the championship. Second position is a 3-way tie as the battle for Class 2 ignites again. And a look there from Andrew Muggeridge coming into the S's through bomb holes. He's going to have a look up the inside line, and there is a gap there. And coming through is Andrew Muggeridge, who looks to see if he can do it, but it's braved out by Steve Freeman on the outside line, and a little bit more momentum as they go down into Coram. Super stuff from Class 2. This is the battle for the lead, and I think for either of these drivers it's going to be a first class win in their career, because remember, Jonathan Evans has won all of the 6 class wins so far this year. We go down the Senna straight once again. I will come back to that point about the Class 1 championship points, but this is such a great battle going on, and Muggeridge having a very good look on the inside. We've already seen Andrew taking 3 podia. You can see Freeman still got the newcomers black cross on the yellow background on the back of his car. Back to the race leaders. Mark McAleer at the head. And now we've got a challenge up for the lead, and through on the inside line and up into lead position goes Andrew Muggeridge. He's already had 2 second positions in class this year on the GP circuit at Silverstone, and goes through into the class lead. We're just watching Ed Grimshaw going through. There is the championship leader, Jonathan Evans, on a very good recovery drive. So Jonathan closing in, back to Class 1 and overall. They're approaching a bit of traffic, and that is going to be interesting for them. Depends how the traffic falls very often. But across the line they go. Carl Hazelton will be the first car that they happen across. Carl will get the blue flag. Mark McAleer goes through. Mark Sumpter goes through as well. James Birch in 5th position at the moment. They round Riches, and it looks like they're trying to go either side of the Class 3 car. Simon Clark then goes, there's a scuff on the side of the car. Simon Clark goes straight on, and on the grass he's going to recover for 5th position. And Carl Hazelton was the meat in the sandwich there in the Class 3 car. He was being passed inside and out. And to be fair, I don't think he knew where to go. Maybe could have perhaps stuck to the outside of the track, but when you've got these very fast Class 1 cars happening across you, it's difficult to know what to do, and they were going either side. But anyway, let's recap. We've got Mark McAleer, Mark Sumpter, James Birch now 3rd, from Craig Wilkins and Simon Clark. And what I was getting around to talking about earlier on was the championship so tight. 3 drivers coming into this race tied on 163 points in 2nd place in the championship. 3 drivers in 2nd place. Here's a pass. Jonathan Evans passed Ed Grimshaw to move up into 4th place, and Evans has done a very good recovery drive here. Sure, people will remember his class wins over the course of the year as being the sort of stuff that builds championship titles, but so too do recovery drives like the one we're seeing now. There is Natalie McGloin. Natalie running in 13th place. Andy Toon there in car number 4. And the best result so far this year, 7th place. Brace of those, and running in 9th position at the moment in this one. But Mark McAleer still the leader. A little bit of a gap now over Mark Sumpter in 2nd place. And again, some more Class 2 cars to deal with here, which I think the leading drivers have done. Lights ablaze from Mark Sumpter closing in now on the 71 machine of Ed Grimshaw. Del Brett is in behind as well. Blue flags you can see being waved. As on to the last lap goes Mark McAleer. Fastest lap of the race so far with Simon Clark. That was half distance at 2 minutes 5.235, averaging 85.34 miles per hour. Fastest lap in Class 2, championship leader Jonathan Evans, 2 minutes 8.773 on his recovery drive. But it's Mark Sumpter, an absentee from the race winners list here at Snetterton, as Pete Morris there in the race-winning 997 is busy nibbling away at Peter Urseg. But this is the view from the infield on the last lap for the race leader, Mark McAleer. It will be a second win of the year. He's had 3 retirements, sadly, but could still come into play towards the end of the year. Remember, we've still got Donington Park doubleheader, Silverstone International doubleheader, Brands Hatch, the Porsche Festival in September. Again, 2 races to complete the season as Natalie McGloin closes in once again on Trevor Lewis, and a good pass there by the Cayman of Natalie McGloin. Nips through on the inside line at Bombhole. Here is James Birch in the 42 car completing the podium at the moment. Craig Wilkins still there, Simon Clark in 5th. Wilkins will consolidate second position in the championship standings here. Behind them, Ed Grimshaw running 5th in Class 2. And for the last time, down the straight, through the complex, out towards Bombhole now. Mark McAleer looking comfortable. He's got a second and a half between himself and Mark Sumter. James Birch in 3rd place, looking for a second podium in the championship. Mark McAleer, while we're talking about statistics, on for a 42nd career win in the Petro-Canada Lubricants Porsche Club Championship with Pirelli. It looks like the positions are settled. It's going to be 996, 996 and Cayman on the podium. And there is the checker. Mark McAleer takes the win. Mark Sumter 2nd. James Birch is 3rd. Craig Wilkins next across the line. It was a good way to get the weekend underway. And you can see Mark McAleer looking very pleased with that. Started the defence of his championship with 2 retirements at Donington Park. He'll be hoping to right that in our second visit to Donington next time out. Across the line goes Ed Grimshaw, 5th place in class. Delbrett is 6th position in Class 2 in the 59 car. And coming up towards us now is Andrew Muggeridge for his first Class 2 win, and he's pulled away from Steve Freeman. There is Andrew. Steve Freeman will take 2nd position in class. A great race from the Class 2s, and that's going to bolster some confidence as well. For sure, we're going to see Jonathan Evans fight back in race number 2, but a good way to get our weekend underway. The lead quintet waving to the race fans here at Snetterton, and indeed all of our marshalling team as well. Confirmation of the result for you: McAleer, Sumter and Birch your podium. Craig Wilkins in 4th from Simon Clark and Peter Urseg, who fended off Pete Morris. Then Chris Dyer and Andy Toon. Andrew Muggeridge winning Class 2 from Steve Freeman, Angus Archer, Natalie McGloin, Jonathan Evans, Ed Grimshaw, Del Brett and Carl Hazelton.
Mark, congratulations on a fantastic win.
Thank you very much. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Well, I enjoyed it until the last couple of laps, and then you're thinking, ooh, and you can hear all the different noises and things like that. The pace was so good, and I think we were sort of very, very similar on times. So it was really, once I got a gap, I just had to try and keep it going and try and manage it. Again, I was mindful, obviously Mark was behind me, and you don't give him too much of a sniff, otherwise he'll be straight on you. But yeah, the last couple of laps he was just holding it back a little bit.
That was an exciting last couple of laps, but P2, fantastic, Mark.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with it. Good points. Obviously, we're trying to win all the time, but it was a really good race. Really, good start. We all went into the corner trying to be on the same bit of tarmac, but didn't swap any paint. Yeah, it's just, we're just all driving at 10 tenths, and we're in the same model car, so sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating. We've now got to look at the tyres and see what we can salvage for the next race, because with qualifying, I did probably too many attempts in qualifying, and then we've had a long, hard race. So the tyres are screaming a little bit.
James, congratulations, another podium there. You qualified 5th, managed to come through. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was a great race actually. I was a lot quicker than the 2 guys in front, but I couldn't really get past them. It was a bit cat and mouse, the different types of cars. So I got a bit fortunate with one of the back markers, admittedly, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. And then once I got past them, I managed to catch up to Mark, but couldn't quite get him because there wasn't enough laps. But 3rd, great, happy, good race.
Andrew, fantastic result there. You qualified 2nd. Obviously, Jonathan didn't have the win that he wanted there. You came through fantastic pace to win that race.
Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, it was a bit of a tricky start. I missed the red change of the first part of the race, so I got off to a slow start, but lost a couple of positions. Managed to sort of get my way back. Then we had a spin in front, so had to dodge that. Lost another couple of positions, but managed to sort of claw my way back. So yeah, really pleased. A great race. A little bit of rubbing along the way, but I don't think anyone's hurt. So yeah, lots of fun.
congratulations, a fantastic podium.
Amazing, I just can't believe it actually. It's only my 6th ever race, so I'm so chuffed. I get rid of the yellow and black sticker off the back this meet, and then so lucky that Jonathan went off for a short while and default second. Happy.
So you're getting your final signature off of your rookie licensing today, and you managed to get P2. That's fantastic.
Yes, I'm so happy. I'm chuffed. Yeah, and Mark got first. In my
there we go. As they say, you've got to cross the line first you've got to finish. So you actually managed to come through P3, and that's great for having your first podium.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I mean, it's so hot out there, and I think everyone's worried the brakes are going to run out and cars are going to finish. It's only a 25-minute race, but it's a lot. These cars are designed to sprints, and yeah, we're asking quite a lot of them in these temperatures. So yeah, cool and calm at the end is the idea, you know.
Jonathan, I hope our chat earlier didn't curse anything, and I'm sorry if it has, but what did happen out there?
You jinxed me. Basically, got a great start, first lap or so, going really well, and managed to catch the new drink system we put in the car because it's quite hot on the quick release of the belts, which is we went around the corner, pulled the quick release and released all my belts. So I was sort of faced with the decision as whether I try and limp around and put them in, or which I did for about 10 metres and realised that wasn't going to happen, and thought it's probably not worth risking death at the wheel. So I decided to pull off and fix it, but really frustrating. Tried hard to battle back, made up a few places. I think we finished 4th in the end, but just not enough pace to catch the guys. So
You were denied your podium there for getting the mechanical flag. What happened?
We'd got a gearbox oil leak that was going on to the exhaust and blowing a bit of smoke out. It's a shame with only one lap to go. We could have just cruised round and just finished, but that's the way it is, isn't it?
I can actually still smell your car now. It's still feeling a little bit hot. I can see the guys working away on it. Are you going to be out for race 2?
I don't know. It's nothing too serious, but it's what damage is done inside. It looks like the circuit's come off the drive shaft and lets the drive shaft come past the seal. So we'll see. We've got it going a little bit better today, but there we go.
Simon, that could have been a fantastic podium there for you. You got fastest lap as well, which just shows the pace was so strong.
Yeah, it was a real shame. I had a good start to the race, but I got backed up by the 911s that aren't quite as quick off the blocks, and as in the first kind of few turns. I think it takes them a bit longer for their tyres to come up to temperature, and so I was very frustrated in the first part of that race, and then I kind of broke away from Birch a bit and thought I could start to work out where to get past Craig. And just an error of judgment, and apologised to Craig because I caught his wing, but just outbraked myself, ended up off the circuit. And then, I guess the reassuring thing was even when I came back on, Cole wasn't really handling particularly well. But I managed to catch them, or start to catch them up. I think a few more laps I would have had a go.
Paul, that's not the way you wanted it to go today, is it?
No, it's a bit of a shame. We had a mechanical problem this morning in qualifying, and I'm very consistent, have been for 7 years. The first mechanical failure from the car, and it's just one of those things, but it's so annoying not to start the races today. We tried in qualifying, but we had oil coming out of the engine and it was unsafe to the competitors and myself really, so you have to live to fight another day sometimes.
It was after Jonathan having his incident, and then Trevor as well. That could probably have been your moment. I don't want to say that, but it could have been the race win.
Motor racing, isn't it? Watching on the banking, that was painful. As the race progressed, it was like we could have been there, we could have been doing that, but that's life. And congratulations to the guys who got on the podium. You know, they deserved it, and that's motor racing. You have good weeks and bad weeks, and it's just very frustrating, very, very frustrating.
Hard lines to Paul Seagrave, but our thanks for him chatting to us just to let us know what the problems were. Pole position for race 2, Mark Sumpter, Simon Clark alongside Mark McAleer and Craig Wilkins on row 2. Class 2 headed again by Jonathan Evans. Second bite at the cherry for him. Andrew Muggeridge lines up second from Steve Freeman, and Angus Archer after his maiden podium. Well done, Angus. So here we are then, ready for race 2, round 8 of the championship. Into the second half of the season we go. It looks so tight, doesn't it, on the grid here at Snetterton. We're waiting for the off. Away we go. Good start from pole position by Mark Sumpter. It looks like James Birch got away well from 5th place. Peter Urseg chasing down into riches for the first time. And Peter, I think, has been passed as well. The number 9 car of Chris Dyer around the outside line of the green car of Michael Price, hoping for better luck in this one. Good to see Michael back out on the grid, and the field brought up the rear by Carl Hazelton as they go into Riches for the first time. Through the hairpin, down into the left-hander at Palmer. And this brings them onto into the infield section. Very slightly downhill now, as you can see, into Agostini. Mark Sumpter, the race leader. Second position is Simon Clark. Craig Wilkins is in third place. Craig now second in the championship. We've got fifth position, Mark McAleer. And there, chasing Andy Toon, is the Class 2 Championship leader. I've got to say, that was an interesting chat that Fern had with Jonathan, just explaining what happened. And Jonathan did the right thing, sorting out the belts and then rejoining the race, and got a fourth place finish, which is handy points for him. And we're looking at the rear end of the Class 2 Championship leader's car from Peter Urseg. Once again, good finish for Peter, sixth place in race number 1. And his third finish of the year, fourth race start of the season. This one, incidentally, Craig Wilkins' 50th start by my reckoning in the Petro Canada Lubricants Porsche Club Championship with Pirelli. So a little bit of a milestone for him, as Jonathan Evans is passed by Peter Urseg. Class 1 car passing Class 2 machine. That could free up the other Class 2s to maybe have a little nibble at the Class Championship leader. We'll see whether that pans out, but it was a good race for the Class 2s in race 1. Andrew Muggeridge taking that victory, and not too far away at the moment from Jonathan Evans as we watch Craig Wilkins. There he is, number 11 car, 50th start for him in this, and he's had several wins over his career. He's won here before as well. Michael Price, we hope, is going to get some decent mileage here, and hopefully a decent result as well. Here he comes in the number 7, the Forel Estates car, followed by Andy Toon. This pair battling it out for Class 2 honours at the moment, with Andrew Muggeridge chasing hard. And you've got to say, at the end of lap number 1, the first 3 miles of the race complete, not that far away from Jonathan Evans, the championship and indeed class leader. Those two clear of the field. Carl Hazelton in the Porsche Centre Chester Class 3 car. We'll catch up with the rest of the racing Porsche class at the Brands Hatch meeting on the 2nd of September, the Porsche Festival at Brands Hatch. If you love the racing, why not come and see it for real? It's going to be a mega day out. And again, this is an MSVR track that we're at here at Snetterton. Brands Hatch is the same. It's a superb venue. And Jonathan Palmer and his team all over the country put on some great events at wonderfully maintained circuits. There's Natalie McGloin running well once again. Had a good race in race number 1. We neglected to pick up on Trevor Lewis's mechanical problem, had the mechanical flag. There's Mark McAleer, a little bit further back in this one, running in 5th position at the moment, down behind James Birch. So Mark will be keen to get on. Just goes to show how competitive this track is, with the qualifying session, one qualifying session, but at fastest and second fastest laps determining pole position, or determining the grids, we should say, for the respective races. Mark McAleer qualifying 3rd. Just goes to show how evenly matched everybody was, and it is a point that the drivers make over the course of the meetings throughout the year. It's difficult sometimes to gain an advantage. Mark Sumpter, though, looking for a first win here at Snetterton, is clear. Simon Clark 2nd. Craig Wilkins is in 3rd place. We pick up again Natalie McGloin heading out of shot. Then the 71 car of Ed Grimshaw. 5th place for Ed in race number 1. That was his best finish of the season. So while we said that Jonathan Evans might have been jinxed by the chat with Fern, Ed Grimshaw certainly wasn't. Best result of the season for him, 5th place in class. So well done, Ed. Through the hairpin they go. There is Ed once again, followed by Del Brett in the 59 car. Del 6 in class in that first race. Now we've got yellows out there. Have we got somebody off track? We have lost Peter Morris. Sadly, I was beginning to wonder where Peter was. We've seen nothing of him at this meeting. The multiple champion. Great move by Mark McAleer there. Down on the inside line of James Birch. Recognised passing position down into Agostini, and McAleer is keeping the momentum up through Hamilton, and that was a great move up into 4th place. So Craig Wilkins now within his sights maybe to try and challenge for 3rd place. Ed Grimshaw in 71 still there, and Del Brett behind him, fairly quiet just outside the podium positions in Class 2 as the drivers settle into the race. Mark Sumter certainly settling in and getting away at the moment from Simon Clark in P2. 3rd place is Craig Wilkins, and Craig trying to close down. Craig goes 2nd in the championship, of course, after breaking the 3-way tie for 2nd position in race number 1. Natalie McGloin finished in 13th place in the first race, and looking to just have our own track space at the moment. No battles in the offing at the moment for Natalie, but we have got a scrap on for 2nd, 3rd and 4th position. There's Mark Sumter, the leader, Simon Clark 2nd, then Craig Wilkins, Mark McAleer running in 4th place. Down into Riches they go, and it looks like there is momentum from the 3rd place car here. Craig Wilkins in the KJ and TG backed 996. So it's 996, Cayman, 996, 996 at the moment. Through into Palmer Corner, the left-hander. And there's Angus Archer. It's a great deal of him in race number 1 on camera, but a superb maiden podium for him in his 2nd meeting with us in this championship. Took a brace of 4th places at Donington Park earlier on in the year. We hope to welcome him back, and there's contact going down into Agostini. Craig Wilkins glances the back end of Simon Clark's car. Mark McAleer's up in the mix now as well. That was unintentional from Wilkins for sure. It is an overtaking place, and he stuck his nose down the inside or tried to get on the inside, but there wasn't room, and now McAleer's coming through, and off goes Craig Wilkins, who is back into 5th place. 2nd position now is Simon Clark, 3rd Mark McAleer. Welcome back, and it's a 3-way fight now for 2nd position. Simon Clark holds 2nd position from the number 1 car, Mark McAleer, after that little bit of contact between Craig Wilkins, and now Mark McAleer has a look, goes to the outside line, flicks back to the inside, which is the outside for Brundle, the left-hander. Can't go through, so good defending from Simon Clark. Not weaving. Mark McAleer not weaving either, and this could bring James Birch back into the mix as well. Birch there, the 3rd of the 3 cars we're looking at. He's running in 4th place. The race leader away in the distance, Mark Sumter in the Paragon car, looking for his first win in the Petro Canada Lubricants Porsche Club Championship with Pirelli, looking for his first win here at Snetterton. So Simon Clark holds on to 2nd place, and it's a good 3-way battle, and Mark McAleer here wants to attack. There is the class leader, Jonathan Evans. And Jonathan looks like he's broken clear of Andrew Mugridge here. So got his head down in the early laps and started to move away. Through goes Peter Urseg, the chaser at the moment. Michael Price in green goes through shot as well. And that's Andy Toon immediately in front of Peter. So a good battle between these two. Peter in the Cayman S looks to the outside line, coming down towards the hairpin, which I referred to as Montreal earlier in the programme. Of course, it's now known as Wilson in deference to the late affable Justin Wilson, renamed by Jonathan Palmer a couple of seasons ago. This is the point where we had the contact between Craig Wilkins and Simon Clark. There's no contact this time because Mark McAleer sizing up the 2nd place driver and trying to work out where he's got an advantage. Runs a little bit wider there. As through comes Steve Freeman. Excellent time for Steve Freeman in race number 1. Led class for such a long time and a great 2nd position. Natalie McGloin just looking ahead and looking back. She's got track space of her own, so an opportunity for Natalie to work on racing lines and get some more track time with the car here. Try and improve her performance in the machine. Michael Price trying to close down on Chris Dyer. Michael in the 996, the only 997 with us this weekend, Pete Morris, who is not on track at the moment, and the rest of 996s and Boxsters and Caymans, the mixture of cars in our championship, as Michael Price does now close it. Good to see Michael getting some track action here, and you can probably see in the background Peter Urseg now ahead of Andy Toon. So great work from Peter Urseg as well. This though, back with the battle for second place, and it's Mark McAleer challenging hard. Let's watch if Mark can go through. He's the chaser. A brief shot of the race leader going through. This is Chris Dyer and Michael Price through on the inside line of Carl Hazelton. The Class 3 car, the Porsche Centre Chester machine, standard car effectively, and difficult on the twists and turns of that last complex for him to know where to place the car, but everybody is through safely. This group led by Chris Dyer, former double class winner here at Snetterton in Class 2, but now of course running in Class 1. Andy Toon trying to close in on Peter Urseg, but Peter seems to have got the measure of him at the moment. And with the measure of the rest of the field, the race leader, Mark Sumpter, clear of this battle for second. Simon Clark still there and getting defensive, keeping it tight on the entrance into Agostini. On the exit, they're all pretty much inch perfect. We've got James Birch in fourth position. Mark McAleer must be wondering what he can do. So evenly matched, these cars. The formula is exactly right. We do see the different shapes, which of course is wonderful to see. But the mixture of cars that we've got here, 996 Cayman, 996, two more Caymans, absolutely superb. And the Boxsters, of course, running in Class 2. There is Steve Freeman running well, and here is our class leader once again, Jonathan Evans. Somebody kicks up a little bit of dust and goes off the circuit, and it's Ed Grimshaw who's gone off. Now, is that tyre barrier? I think that's a little bit of tyre barrier that maybe he's picked up, or is that from his car? Race leader though, Mark Sumpter, comes back towards us. Fastest lap of the race at the moment, with Mark McAleer running in third. So Mark clearly has the pace, a 2 minutes 4.861, and at faster times than we had in race 1, I have to tell you. And that's 85.59 miles per hour. Fastest in Class 2 again, Jonathan Evans. There he is, championship leader. I don't think any damage done really to his championship hopes in race number 1, because he did get that finish. And as I say, we have got drop scores to worry about. He could come through the season with, after drop scores, a perfect score, but that remains to be seen, as race leader Mark Sumpter goes on to the last lap. The Bayliss and Harding Paragon prepared car up ahead of Simon Clark in second position. This is going to be, if he can hold on to it, a third second place of the year for Simon Clark. The race win is surely not far away from him. Lights ablaze from the Class 2 leader, Jonathan Evans. It's Andrew Muggeridge running in second place, so Andrew having another good race as Chris Dyer comes towards us. Dyer running in fifth place. Michael Price is in sixth, followed by Peter Urseg. And we've got some challenging again, because Mark McAleer takes a wide line this time into Agostini, hoping to carry speed here. And have a look on the inside line of Simon Clark up into Hamilton corner. I'm not sure whether that panned out for him, because we just dropped back quarter of a lap or so to the Class 2 leader, Jonathan Evans, who's still there. Peter Urseg coming under pressure once again from Andy Toon. These two have had a super race. Toon, remember, was in front earlier on. Urseg managed to get past. There is Andrew Muggeridge, second in class. Angus Archer's on for a double podium as well in Class 2 in the number 70 Boxster S. So it could be a double podium for him on his second meeting with us, and a very welcome addition to the ranks this year is Angus Archer. We hope to see more of him, but it's Mark Sumpter whose lead has been cut. Mark Sumpter had a massive lead, so Sumpter, maybe that's him nursing the tyres in the later stages, but I think he's done enough to hold on to this. So it's Sumpter, Clark and McAleer. It's going to be the three cars together across the line, with Sumpter taking his first win in Porsche Club Racing here at Snetterton. Simon Clark is second. Mark McAleer completes the podium in third. So a solid meeting for the defending champion. Fourth position will go to James Birch there in the 42. Behind them, this group, Michael Price chasing Chris Dyer, who is in fifth place. Across the line they go. You just saw Del Brett there in the mix as well. Del finishing fifth in Class 2. Lap down on the leaders, but there is Chris Dyer, Michael Price, Peter Urseg and Andy Toon. Behind them, ninth overall and another class win, a 7th class win in 8 races this year for Jonathan Evans, who we heard is looking to move up to Class 1, was hoping to do it this year, but looking to do it next year. That's going to be great. Congratulations, Jonathan, on another splendid win. He passes Ed Grimshaw along the straight along the way. So let's take a look at the overall result of round 8 of the championship. Mark Sumpter, the winner from Simon Clark and Mark McAleer. James Birch and Chris Dyer next from Michael Price. Then Peter Urseg and Andy Toon. Jonathan Evans wins Class 2 from Andrew Muggeridge and Angus Archer completing the podium. Steve Freeman next from Del Brett, Carl Hazelton and Ed Grimshaw.
Mark, congratulations! Fantastic race win there.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, we've had a good day. Really good.
Donington out next time as well, so nice haul of points to take forward through to that round.
Yeah, I'd like to have a bit more pace so I can make it a bit easier. But no, we're having great fun, as you can see. It's really good fun out there.
Simon, congratulations, P2. What a day!
Yeah, it was a very good second race, but I was just waiting for the flag to come out. It was like just one more lap, and then as we started to catch Mark, it was like actually I quite like a few more laps. But yeah, I was just defending from the off really, so didn't really have a chance to have an attack at Mark. But yeah, it was great race. Yeah, great race.
Mark, fantastic P3 and fastest lap there, so the pace was really strong.
Yeah, it was really good. I think we could possibly have done better if we just had a little bit longer. Obviously we didn't, so we have to make do with P3, but we've got to be happy with that after the day we've had. We've had a pole, a win, a third and the fastest lap, so yeah, over the moon with that.
That was much better, Jonathan. A nice race win for you there to make it round 8.
Yeah, a bit of a relief after the poor performance in race 1. Yeah, managed not to do anything too stupid, which was good. I managed to keep it together and we got the win.
7 out of 8 race wins now for you. Very nearly would have had that 8th one today. But next time out at Donington, that should be a good round for you. You won twice there already this year.
Yeah, it's a great track. Suits us pretty well, I think. We've got the setup for it, you know what we need to do. So, yeah, looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. And hopefully we can keep pushing for the championship.
And do another podium. It's fantastic to see you again up on the P2 this time.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, really pleased. We found the reliability that we wanted. The car's going well. I'm pushing hard and sort of finding my pace in the race. And again, just trying to chase Jonathan, which is always keeping me on my toes. But I was hanging on to him for a few laps. I thought, oh, here we go. And then it's like he pressed a button, then he just sort of went. So, but it's great fun, and I'm sure the guys behind me say the same about me. So it's how it is. But great fun, and really enjoyed it.
Congratulations, Angus, another podium. Fantastic.
Yeah, brilliant. It's like buses, two at once. Brilliant. I don't want to say, just thanks to the guys, thanks to the team, Barry, Ryan, Tanisha back at the workshop. Brilliant. Cars survived where perhaps others have failed, and over the moon to get 2 in one day.
Your pace is obviously getting better and better every time you go out in the car, which has got to be good for your confidence there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've still got a little way off the really fast guys. There's no secrets, unfortunately, and there was a few other guys that didn't make race 2, so perhaps my result is somewhat inflated, but third's a third, I'm happy.
Fantastic. Well, enjoy the podium celebrations later on, and hopefully we'll see you out at Donington.
We'll be there. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Mark Sumpter takes the championship lead to Donington. That second place battle has been sorted out. Simon Clark now second from Chris Dyer. James Birch is in 4th place, then Craig Wilkins, Mark McAleer and Pete Morris, headed by Michael Price, Andy Toon and Peter Urseg. Class 2 still headed by Jonathan Evans. Steve Freeman now second from Trevor Lewis, Andrew Muggeridge third, then Ed Grimshaw, Paul Seagrave, Angus Archer and David Botterill.
Well, that's it from us here at Snetterton. Join us next time for the second half of the season, which kicks off at Donington. Join us then.